Case number 2022 CRA 03187, State of Ohio City, North Ridgeville versus Emily Deese. Defendant was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, both first-degree felonies, and 4 counts of felonious assault, all second-degree felonies.
Good morning, Ms. Deese. Can you hear me? Okay, Ms. Deese, you have 6 charges. These are from December the 6th, 2022. First 2 charges are attempted felony murder under Revised Code 2923.02. That's a first-degree felony, punishable back to 11 years in prison and $20,000 fine. The next 4 charges are all felonious assault under Revised Code 2903.11. Those are second-degree felonies, punishable by up to 8 years in prison and $15,000 fine each. I'm going to explain your rights to you. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court may appoint one for you. You have the right to a reasonable continuance to obtain an attorney. You have the right to have a reasonable bond set. You have the right not to make any statements today, but if you do make any statements, they can be used against you later. This is all being video recorded. The prosecutor's on this call with us, and she can hear everything both of us are saying. You have the right to a trial, either before a judge or before a jury. No plea will be taken in this case today because these charges are felonies. Instead, it will be set for a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the state will have the opportunity to present evidence. The state will try to prove that there's probable cause to believe 2 things. Number 1, that these offenses were committed. Number 2, that you're the person that committed them. If the state meets its burden of proof, this case will be transferred to the Lorain County Court of Common Pleas for presentation to a grand jury. That preliminary hearing will be set within the next 10 days.
Sir, she's still here. She's sitting on the floor.
All right. Ms. Deese, will you be hiring an attorney or requesting a court-appointed attorney? All right, Ms. Deese, I'm going to ask the prosecutor to tell us what the allegations are. Ms. Morgan?
Your Honor, this occurred on 12/6 when officers were dispatched to 6632 Amber Way on the report of a female that had arrived at the residence and was assaulting, at that time, her elderly father. Officers arrived and discovered that the father had sustained multiple stab wounds and had been chased out of the house by the female, the defendant. They also discovered that her elderly mother had been stabbed multiple times inside the house by her. The female was taken into custody and identified as Emily Deese, the defendant. Officer noted upon arrival that the male victim was seated on the tree lawn being treated by paramedics at that time. Defendant had been taken into custody, was handcuffed, also seated on the tree lawn. He observed that both of her hands were covered in blood. She was refusing to speak at all or to answer any questions about what happened. Both of the victims were transported to the hospital as well as the defendant. When officers arrived at the emergency room, defendant was alone in a triage room and they made contact with her and observed multiple lacerations on both her palms and on the inside of her fingers. It was advised that the female victim had sustained at least 9 stab wounds. Officers at that time observed her to be unconscious and was being attended to by emergency medical personnel. The male victim had sustained at least 4 wounds and lacerations, 2 severe ones to each side of his neck. At that time, he was unconscious and had lost a large amount of blood. Life flights had been ordered for both of them, but due to weather conditions, they had been grounded. They were transported otherwise. The call came into dispatch by a sister of the defendant, and the sister indicated that the defendant is believed to suffer from psychiatric and drug abuse issues. Further, a neighbor witness identified her as the attacker and advised at the time that when the officers arrived, she still had possession of the knife.
All right, are you aware of any prior offenses by Ms. Deese? Looks like I see something
a
in
local record, sorry, Your Honor,
Yes,
and
go
a
ahead.
criminal history to include domestic offense and some unrelated offenses is what my report indicates.
All right, I see something in Cuyahoga County from earlier this year also. She was arrested in April. Domestic violence and aggravated theft. It's not clear as to the alleged victim in that case, but it's not a pending case either, so What's your position with respect to bond?
Your Honor, as far as mounted bonds, I would indicate that the standard bonds, $20,000 on each of the F1 felonies and 15 on the 4 F2s, which would come to about $100,000. But I am concerned that she might also be a danger to herself and or the community.
All right, Ms. Deese, based upon your behavior in this hearing, I'm going to have a counselor come and talk to you at the jail before I set any bond. We'll have a bond hearing. After that, counselor has an opportunity to speak to you, and I'll assign an attorney on your behalf in the meantime. So an attorney will also be in contact with you. Anything else, Ms. Morgan?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Deese.
So just give me a little bit, I'll call Jackie here in a little bit, I'm gonna log it up.
All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
All right.